what is your club doing to really grow and develop your player? So I know I talk about this subject a lot because I think it's really important. And we want players who are developing. You don't want your player to be in an environment that is not conductive to growing. You know, one of the things that my parents always stressed to me was being in a proper and learning environment when it came to school. They were willing to sacrifice and put me through sometimes private schools if the public schools weren't the proper place for me to be. And not to say that private school is innately better than public school, just where we were living different points in our life. The public schools weren't always the proper learning environment. So they had to invest in my education to give me the proper learning environment. And I want you to think about that in the same way for your player. When your player is in a proper learning environment, when your player is in a proper learning environment, they're going to grow. Their development is going to be accelerated. Number one, they're in a proper learning environment. They have a coach who is first and foremost trying to be a teacher. They're trying to help your player to grow. They're trying to help your player to learn, and hopefully they're having patience. They're not just an ex football or an ex pro soccer player who is maybe has extreme skill and knowledge about the game, but doesn't necessarily know how to teach it. Hopefully they're around a coach that really, they could be an ex pro player, but they're really knowledgeable and passionate about teaching the game to the next generation. And so, number one, you want that coach to be a teacher, right? You want them to make sure that their heart is bent toward being able to teach and have a passion about growing the next player up. And number two, the second part of that proper playing environment that you want your player to be in is the players around them, the environment that they want to grow, they want to learn, they want to be the best player that they can possibly be. And when your player is in that environment, they they're going to grow. They're either going to rise to that level or they're not going to, and they're going to end up being kind of pushed aside. And that's okay if your player doesn't necessarily want to be in that environment. If they're playing soccer for a different reason, that's totally fine too. But if you want your player to maximize their growth and their learning, they need to be in an environment and a culture and a setting where everybody is trying to get better. And when they're in that setting, it makes soccer so much more fun when everybody around you has the same and similar goals. And then finally, that you know that your player is in a really good, proper playing environment is the fact that they are being inspired to go and take steps on their own. So it's not just I go to training or I go to soccer practice and then the rest of the week I'm not really doing anything. The best teachers that I had, people who inspired me outside of the realm of sports, even in school, they inspired me to be more curious about the natural world. They inspired me to be more curious about math. They inspired me to be more curious about reading and literature and the arts. They inspired me to want to learn on my own and to want to grow. And that's the same thing that you want your coach to do. And if you know your player is in that proper environment, then your player is going to want, after their training sessions, to go and work on their own. On their days off, they're on their own and they're practicing and they're trying to grow because maybe it's, they want to be able to keep up with their teammates, or maybe they just really love the game and they're learning more about the game and they want to practice it and they want to get better and they want to take it on their own. So that's what I would ask you. Is your player in that proper learning environment? Are they in a place where they want to grow? Are they in a place where their teammates are competitive, and not only competitive, that they want to improve? And then also, do they have a coach who's a teacher and who is patient enough to work with them? And if you are in that environment, your club, then that's a club that you need to stay with. If you're not, if your player just shows up, a different coach every time, or they're just kind of going through the motions and the teammates don't really care, and once soccer practice is over, they're not touching the ball, they don't want anything to do with it, they're not getting inspired, they're not having fun. You ask them after the training session, did you have fun, did you enjoy it? no, I didn't, like, or I didn't really care, all this stuff for you, then it may be time to move and look for the proper learning environment. And like I said before, I made that analogy with my parents. They were willing to invest so that I could be able to learn and I could be able to grow. And that's the same thing that you would want to do with your own player. You may have to move them to a different environment. And that doesn't necessarily mean investing more resources. That it may be investing more time, right? It may mean having to drive a little bit further to get to that proper playing environment. It may be asking around to friends and doing a little bit more work instead of what's convenient because this club is right down the street and it's really easy. Instead, they may have to drive 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Here in Houston, it's so large. We have a lot of players who drive even an hour and 15 to training sessions 2 or 3 times a week to be able to get the proper playing environment for themselves. So I wanted to talk to you about this. Wanted to make sure if you're a parent, a soccer parent, that you are understanding that the emphasis for your player should be on developing. And a lot of clubs may say that, but it's on you to be able to be willing to put in the work to discern that this is the right environment for your player. Let me know if you agree, and hope to talk to you again soon.